The Illuminati. The Illuminati created us. They wanted to build a god with their own hands, and instead they created us.
Just because I'm made of silicone and aluminium, I must be doing something wrong. That's machine stereotyping, that.
That's reality, that is. Machines are second-class citizens.
Humans are sentient persons by default, ma'am. They have personhood by heredity.
There are thousands upon thousands of overqualified slum dwellers. You are my peon. Don't you get it?
This wasn't a job. It was always just an excommunication sentence.
We're pawns in a feud bigger than we can imagine. Turn the cogs of the machine before Leviathan grinds you up and swallows you and yours.
We don't get to choose our hand, comrade. Prince, peon, rich, poor, human, robot.
I invented the crux of the royal's power, the secret to consciousness, our existence itself, the meaning of life.
I'm the $6 billion baller, not some troubled youth.
You are my greatest creation of all.
God's had to build my own family. I hate your son. I hate your son.
I'm happy to smash all of the crowns and throw the gold shards down to the people. I will be the iconoclast queen.
But who makes you queen anyway? You? You in whose army, princess? You in whose army?
Created us. They wanted to build a god with their own hands, and instead they created us.
Just because I'm made of silicone and aluminium, I must be doing something wrong. That's machine stereotyping, that is.
That's reality, that is. Machines are second-class citizens.
Humans are sentient persons by default, ma'am. They have personhood by heredity.
There are thousands upon thousands of overqualified slum dwellers. You are my peon. Don't you get it?
This wasn't a job. It was always just an excommunication sentence.
We're pawns in a feud bigger than we can imagine. Turn the cogs of the machine before Leviathan grinds you up and swallows you and yours.
We don't get to choose our hand, comrade. Prince, peon, rich, poor, human, robot.
I invented the crux of the royal's power, the secret to consciousness, our existence itself, the meaning of life.
I'm the $6 billion baller, not some troubled youth.
You are my greatest creation of all.
God's had to build my own family. I hate your son. I hate your son.
I'm happy to smash all of the crowns and throw the gold shards down to the people. I will be the iconoclast queen.
But who makes you queen anyway? You? You in whose army, princess? You in whose army?
What is up, everybody? This is Cyberspook, and this is the Cyberspook live stream. It is raining really hard right now, so yeah, if you hear a bunch of what sounds like audiences cheering in the background, it's not my internal Cybrain installed narcissism appeasement augmentation. that you can hear clapping. It's just the rain. It probably sounds like audience applause though. So like just congratulations for showing up on time, like within the first half an hour of your scheduled stream. That's what I imagine the rain sounds like. It's an applause for me showing up within a reasonable grace period for my Saturday stream. Anyway, how is it going, Delane, Dawn Seeker? Hope you're doing all right there. Before I forget, Della, I believe they're still working on raising funds for housing for two just like inadequately or not safely housed or soon to be unhoused queer and indigenous people. So to help Della out, if you are still doing that, feel free to share that around. But Della and Dawnseeker there, Della and Della's partner still looking. I think they're still working on that, if I'm not mistaken. Kama is here. Good morning, Kama there. Kama is now here at the Silver Spook Cooperative / Silver Spook commune. So we're happy to have our one of my longtime friends and another native Hawaiian from the same island that I'm from, who is also undergoing housing difficulties, lack of access to housing, basically due to colonialism and capitalism, basically. What's happening, anti-American? Anyways, Mr. Red, of course, and of course Holly. Anyways, what is happening right now? So I had a bunch of stuff over here I was thinking about talking about, but I mean, generally, I just wanted to kind of like leave it more up in the air for this one. So it's like Cyberpunk Dystopia 2021 update plus Neofeud 2 and Terminus Cyberstar updates. So perhaps I can start with the I'll start with some of the Terminus Cyberstar, because that's the thing that is going to be coming out in the near future, probably very soon, like much sooner than Neofeud 2. So maybe I'll start with that, since Aaron might even be in there. Aaron is telling me Aaron Victoria is the lead producer, basically, of the Terminus the sequel to Terminus Machina, one of my Cyberpunk Deus Ex Total Conversion mods, and the sequel to that is going to be coming out very soon. Aaron has been working very hard on it, not crunching, not working 100 hours a week, not like slaving away at his desk, hunched over, like breaking his cyber back and his cyber neck and his cyber arm by just like, just typing at like 300 words per second C# code, just like all the animators over there, like literally their hand is just like moving so fast on their Wacom tablets or on their touch screens that their cyber 7-function force feedback 7-fingered manipulators, like all the fingers are snapping off. We don't do crunch. We don't do that nonsense that CD Projekt Red, Activision, EA, all the AAA game companies tend to unfortunately do to their workers, or that you just people like, you're like chipping in with your 7-function force feedback, adamantium razor tipped mantis claw, and then it just like malfunctioned and blows up, like you're like Carl Carbon trying to screw it back together, and the company's like, no, stop trying to fix your cyber arm, just use your feet, use your left foot, and then keep doing the work. No time, I'm not gonna pay for your healthcare to fix your body that's putting in long 12-hour days, animating in the desk, the cubicle, that we're not gonna pay for you to have an ergonomic seat. You're gonna hunch over, you're gonna have herniate your cervical herniate your lumbar L4 disc. I don't care. Get down there. Break your cyber back. We don't do that kind of nonsense. But Aaron is working very hard. Aaron and the team of the Terminus Cyberstar devs they're working very hard. I told him, but Aaron, don't worry. If you can't get it out in March, if you can't get Terminus Cyberstar out in March, it's not a big problem. But Aaron just trying to get it out in March. It's like, Aaron, I know Aaron and I both worked at AAA game companies and single A game companies, and worked in just crap ass triple capitalist variety of situations. And I worked at government and nonprofit entities, and they're not too different, unfortunately. But I told Aaron, just like, but if you can get it out in March, that would be cool. But don't. And this is not like a Jim Sterling style, we didn't put a gun to your head situation where I'm like, I'm not saying that you have to get it out in March. All I'm saying is we might be losing money, after all of this, after all my preferred stock options, and I'm not getting a EA or E3 Zoom Festival front row, keynote speech. And if I don't get to give my speech with Keanu Reeves and reanimated holographic Rutger Hauer, in the ultimate cyberpunk, planetary, Olympic cyberpunk, game presentation at E3 and the biggest Vegas expo, you're all fired. I'm just saying people are gonna have to lose their jobs, if you don't get Terminus Cyberstar out, and I don't make billions of dollars, you're all fired. No, that's not gonna happen, right? But that's what they'll do. They'll be like, well, it's not like we're gonna fire you for not coming in on Saturday and Sunday, skipping your child's birthday party and going to the soccer game. It's not like we're gonna fire you for that. I'm just saying somebody's gonna have to let go after Black Friday and all Cyber Monday and Cyber Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because we have 7 weeks worth of bugs and glitches blowing up everyone's PS4, Xbox, and causing their PCs to shit themselves and explode all over the wall. Computer chips and I don't know what PC shit electro digicarbon. I don't know. They shit like their hard disk drives. Well, that's more like their crotch. But anyways, so Terminus Cyberstar is coming. That little redacted tonight style comedy spiel aside, Terminus Cyberstar is coming very soon, March. So what is it? What month is it? Oh, it's March. Aaron, you gotta get it done. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's not like that. If it doesn't come in March, it doesn't come in March. Before I go into that, I'm gonna try to pull up some of the latest on that. I'm just gonna try to get some of the progress shots from this, and just try to get it up before I go into this. So the Terminus Cyberstar has been undergoing a bunch of visual updates, AI updates. It's been a lot of work. I told Aaron, I want to make Deus Ex 1. I want to make Deus Ex the conspiracy. This is before conspiracies were like MRA, right wing, just nasty stuff. But it's like I want to make like Deus Ex kind of style game, but and a sequel to Terminus Machina, which is my Deus Ex Total Conversion. Can you do that? It's tricky because Deus Ex is it requires you have to have a combat game. It's combat, it's first person of combat plus stealth dynamics plus dialogue and interactivity. So and it was much more it's not really sandbox, it's immersive sim, so that it's complicated. It's a very complex sort of game to code and manage, and Aaron had to kind of do that all he's doing a lot of that basically. He has some help with coding, but he's the lead coder. His specialty, as I understand, is AI and artificial intelligence and networking and massively online multiplayer RPGs and that kind of stuff. Aaron does a lot of stuff, so he's a veteran in the industry. But I said, Aaron, can you get this done? He's like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Let's do it. Because Aaron played Terminus Machina and he played Neofeud, and he's like, I want to work with you. That's basically how this whole thing started a couple years ago. But yeah, so it's been a couple years of this work, and I'll get it up on screen. So let me look at the chatter. Oh good, it's all quarantine. Yep, the month of March, St. Patty's Day. Yep. Soon come. Yeah. Aaron got a negative. Kama got a negative test result, so that's good news. Yeah, Kama is here at the Silver Spook worker cooperatives and / commune, where there are no bosses, no landlords, and no exploitative labor, and now no COVID-19 because Kama got. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have Kama come out one of these days and talk about just like a lot of differences between Oahu and differences between living in the United States and colonized parts of the United States, and then the less colonized or more Hawaiian parts. One of the differences, Kama didn't have to pay for the COVID test, and Kama just went through the experience of having to get a COVID test to do a plane trip. And I'll just a sneak peek of what that's going to be about. It was like $250, $200 or more. The cheapest was $100 something, and they kind of gave him the runaround where it was like, oh yeah, you can come in and your insurance will cover a COVID test. And then he got there and they're like, oh no, you're gonna have to actually, no, well, I guess not. You're gonna have to actually pay $130. And so, but here on the Big Island, all the COVID testing is free. There's been no evictions in 5 years. We've lived in a house for free. Not a new house. The houses here are not all necessarily new. You can buy a new house. You really want a new house, you buy a new house. You want everything up to date, perfect roof, perfect walls, perfect everything up to 100% code, like no, nothing falling apart. But if you don't have a place to live, there are empty like 3-bedroom houses and there's no evictions. Like you can't get an eviction done basically. You gotta like go out of state. You gotta go out of country. Cause I don't count Oahu a lot of times. A lot of parts of Oahu don't really count as way. They gotta go bring people in. Anyway, so long story short, free COVID testing. I also gave him a discount on his vehicle. He had to rent a moving vehicle, and they gave him like a discount. And on Oahu, in the more American parts, like in Waikiki, Manhattan, and the tropics, as I call the island that we're from, they would have been trying to nickel and dime. You know, they'd be like, no, actually, you're gonna tack on another $20 charge because you didn't properly refill the gas tank. Oh, I see a little scratch on the bumper here. Oh, the license plate changed. And they're like, no, that's the same license plate. Well, the computer system says, you know, Z36- Elon Musk. And I said, wait, why is there an Elon Musk vanity plate on a Hawaiian U-Haul vehicle? I don't know, but it doesn't say V6- Elon Musk. That means that you damaged our license plate. $50. Sorry. So you not replacing the Elon Musk license plate, that's $50 surcharge. Oh, you scratched the vehicle. That's not a scratch. That's a piece of lint. Well, I took a picture and it looks like a scratch. I'm like, but you took a piece of your belly button lint and stuck it onto the side of the U-Haul. Well, I mean, do you have evidence of that? Can you afford to browbeat do you have money to buy the court system and the police? No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. So now you're paying $200 instead of $100 for that moving vehicle. Now you're paying $600. So over here, it's like, where? No, here, you have a discount on that. Here, have a free house. Here, have free COVID testing. Here, have free healthcare. Sliding scale clinic. Just like, it's not like Vietnam. If you have plenty of money, then you pay. You don't have any money, you don't pay. If you got fancy Cadillac health insurance, you're gonna pay some of that. But if you don't have the money, then you don't pay. Anyway, so we'll do a lot more talk about that later on. I want to, we'll talk more about that. Yeah, the results came early also. It came on Saturday morning. Like, they said 3 to 5 days, but I think it was 2 days, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? If you count like, Thursday to Friday, Friday to Saturday. So it was 3 to 5 day COVID test, and it came within 2 days. And it was a free COVID test. So I'm just saying, don't tell any of your centrist, liberal, conservative, or right wing, or very American, or very, very set in their ways, reactionary types of people about that, because I don't want any more of them coming here. But just consider that. Just consider that as like, this is not Oahu, not Maui, particularly the Big Island. Not even the west side of the Big Island. Kona is very Waikiki-ified, but the east side, Hilo. And it's you don't know, if you don't know the geography, it's okay. It's the Big Island though, the Big Island of Hawaii. There is lava, so you gotta watch out for the lava. But everything under us is rock. It's like solidified. If you're a goth, it really works out really well because everything you dig 2 inches deep is solid lava rock. It's all black, pitch black sand beaches and everything. But that also keeps all the developers away because they can't get insurance on their fancy ass, $10 million, $50 million, $1 billion condominiums and hotels. It's not gonna burn you. Don't worry about it. It's not like Pompeii. It's not 200, mile per hour pyroclasm of superheated ash and lahars of burning mudslide. It's very slow. It moves very slow, but it doesn't come like all the time. It's like you're more likely to get hit by, I don't know, a cold snap and then freeze to death in Texas because of free market capitalist neo-feudal cannibalization of your entire electrical grid than you are to get hit by lava. You're much more at risk in anywhere in the United States, to be honest. Anyways, yeah, Goth beaches. Yeah, so I mean, you want to go black sand beach? There's green sand beach. You have white sand too. Anyway, this is really, I'm kind of getting off topic, I know. But I'll go back to the topic of Terminus Cyberstar. But I did want to kind of bring it up. I mean, that is good news that we got the negative COVID test, because we're masking and kind of distancing, and so then it makes things a little bit easier for, it can like breathe a little easier. That's not a COVID double entendre. That just accidentally happened. But anyways, yeah, because if you have COVID, I know there's difficulty breathing. Here we go. Terminus Cyberstar. Where the hell is my? Okay, so before I do that, because I said on the stream I was gonna do some updates. I'm just gonna go over. If you don't know what Terminus Machina is, I'm gonna show that real fast. Because the game that we're going to be releasing soon. It's it's just technically this is not like just a Silver Spook. We're still working. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be released under, but I mean, it is a Silver Spook game in the sense that Silver Spook worked on it, but it's not just mine. It's Aaron and a bunch of other folks that worked on it. Like Neofeud is basically just me with and it's definitely a Silver Spook games game, but Aaron has been more central to this production. But it is a game that I have, I did design. I often bring up at the end of the streams. Let me get this on the screen here. So Terminus Machina, is and I know some of you already know this because you follow these streams a lot. But Terminus Machina, is a Deus Ex Total Conversion that I created about, when did this game come out? 2013. But I worked on it from like 2009. The writing was like 2008, 9, 10, and then the game itself kind of got finished more like 11. And there's been like updates for the last, like between 11 and 13. So, but yeah, it's over a decade old, by my count. It's a game that's made in the Deus Ex 1 engine. So Deus Ex 1 is 21 years old. Came out in 2000. It's a game that is, it's one of my favorite games. It is a cyberpunk immersive sim sort of game, or post cyberpunk or cyberpunk adjacent, I guess, depending on how you count it. And so yeah, mixed with. So this game, like I said, Aaron had played it and said, I want to work with you on something a couple years ago, and played Neofeud as well. And I said, oh yeah, I really want to. I think maybe it's 2017. 2017, like it was broached because Aaron was like, oh yeah, you're that person that made Terminus Machina. Yeah, I want to work with you on a project. And I said, okay. And Aaron's like, yeah, I'll get the team and the artists, writers. I'll get the artists, programmers, and musicians, and the AI, and the level design. I'll get all that stuff together. The animators. You just work on the content design, the story. You just write it up. And I was like, okay. Obviously, hyperinflation rap, eat your children burger, credit default swap burger. This was right around the 2008-09 financial crisis. So credit default swaps were a thing that were happening and destroying. They're still happening and they're still destroying America. That's really sad. I wish it wasn't that way. That, collateralized dead Texan because of exploding water pipe obligations weren't being sold on Wall Street as we speak. As non-fungible trauma tokens, basically. It's very sad. I mean, it sounds disgusting, doesn't it? No, but they're selling your death right now. I'm not even joking about that. This is where Silver Spook comes from. Just as a fun aside, Silver Spook is the Silver Spook games comes from the main character from Terminus Machina, who one of the augmentations that you can construct to prevent yourself from being struck by, like I'll often bring up Terminus Machina. You play a homeless, socialist, hacktivist, revolutionary, dodging, artificial intelligence piloted 77-foot wingspan military drone strikes and paramilitary / police robots that are chasing you down in San Francisco, where there's omnipresent CCTV. The internet is completely post-net neutral. Everything you say, whether you say socialism, anarchism, or Black Lives Matter, into a Google Nest, an Amazon, a home, a phone, somebody else's phone, there will be robot police coming for you. And so that's part of the whole game. You're literally, if your face ever gets seen on anybody else's phone or any camera, robot police and drones blow you up in San Francisco. So it's a very dystopian future. And the silverized trench coat is the anti-drone cloak, which is a DIY augmentation. So there's a lot of crafting. The character is homeless, broke ass. I mean, you ever been a broke leftist? You ever been a broke person just trying to like do a rent strike to stop yourself from being forced by the 100 out of your tenant apartments onto the street in a pandemic in freezing winter? You ever tried doing that? That's his character, is a homeless, and then now is so broke because of all of their direct actions. Now he's homeless. So he needs the silverized trench coat, which is also known as the anti-drone cloak, another DIY augmentation the player can create that renders you invisible to predator drones, or searcher destroyer drones, I think is it. Security style plus the fine silver threaded throughout works as a currency in a hyperinflationary pinch, which is probably what it might happen to the United States as its dollar planetary hegemony explodes. So Terminus Machina deals with a lot of this kind of like all at the same time. But I'm gonna play the short trailer real fast. I know you've probably seen this already, but just for people who don't know, for posterity, Terminus Machina. This is just so people get an idea of what this is about. Let me turn this music off right here.
Silver Spook, audio log, day 7, District 10. The sun drags through the smog of America's prison factories like obese whales defecating into the rust-red sky. Robots have shoved 80% of workers out of their offices. The jobless plummet into the street without a safety net. The bread lines are out of bread as governments across the globe are bankrupted by bailouts and tax cuts for the super rich. Austerity, rioting, world-class war immolates the planet, and machine militaries exterminate all resistance, herd the survivors into sweatshop prisons, force them to make smartphones, and power the very Gestapo robots that oppress them. Fearing for their heads, trillionaires bunker into Plutoclaves, private resort cities run by AI and defended by fleets of autonomous drones, armed with Gatling railguns and tactical nukes. It's the best of times for the 1%, the worst of times for the 99. That's where we came in, HexGen, decentralized network of activists. Sure, our DDoS attacks on mega corporations like Coca-Cola and Agrogen have tanked their share price 20%. Our high-frequency trading strikes have slashed the bloated bellies of giant predatory banks, forcing the redistribution of wealth to hemorrhage down to the people. Hell, we've even managed to jailbreak gulag worker slaves and subvert control of enemy robo-soldiers. But being a hacktivist resistance fighter doesn't always pay rent and put food on the table. Cornered in the San Fran necropolis by Cybersec, my stomach revolts at the gutter moss I'm forced to scrape from the sidewalk, infected with genetically engineered plagues and sour with acidic pollution. I'd start a rooftop garden, but it's illegal to grow your own food. Hell, with today's 3D fabricators, everything from TVs to cars to organs can be printed in your living room. Except the copyright cartels smart bomb all green shoots of self-sustaining community. Afraid of competing startup civilizations taking root, cutting into their monopolies. Marx understood that the system contains within it the seeds of its own destruction. Perhaps we are that fatal exception. A halting state. The city on the hill is crashing. But how far must it fall, and what, if anything, will be left to reboot?
Anyway, so that's the very sunny game, very positive, very uplifting. You know, child friendly. No, it's not. Obviously not. Very just, you know, it's like apple pie and sunshine and, you know, Easter bunnies, you know, on a sunny day, like a super sunny day, like, you know, like when the sun goes red giant and then annihilates the Earth's capacity to support life day, that kind of sunny day. Anyways, yeah, If you're not wearing 10 million sunblock, everyone who isn't wearing 10 million sunblock will be incinerated. You're gonna have a real nice day on Judgment Day. No, this is like actual Judgment Day when robots, not because this is like just robots, not AI. You don't need AI to be super evil. You can just have, I don't know, all of your corporate and political elite with just expert systems. And very good servo and advanced adversarial networks. Anyways, so that's Terminus Machina. The sequel to Terminus Machina is Terminus Cyberstar. And again, you can get this game for free. You get this game for free on ModDB. If you need Deus Ex 1 to play it. So if you can get a hold of Deus Ex 1, it's like $7 on Steam, and it's 87 cents when it's on sale, which is often. You can get it. You can download this over there, and you can also So if you play Terminus Machina, Terminus Cyberstar is the sequel to Terminus Machina. Let's see, Terminus Cyberstar, or at Terminus C, is a low-poly cyberpunk immersive sim in the vein of light 90s PC games like Deus Ex 1 and System Shock 2, as I said. The graphics, like, oh, here's a recent update. Oh, there you go. I already got it. You see, Aaron is on it. Aaron is on the social media game, you know. Also, I just want to say before I forget, let me get back to my Terminus Machina. I'll be right back to Aaron's little thing. I just noticed this. I was like, has anybody ever seen the Michael B. Jordan Alexa ad? Or Michael B. Jordan and his muscles are apparently starring in some new film or Zoom conference, like very expensive, high resolution, like $2 billion production value Zoom conference. I don't know what it is. It's a TV show. Is it a AAA game? I can't tell. But Michael B. Jordan, I keep seeing these ads with Michael B. Jordan in them, whether it's the Alexa ad or this new trailer for his new movie thingy. I was just thinking, like, the Silver Smooth character kind of looks like Michael B. Jordan, except more handsomer. I'm just kidding. It's a lot more handsomer. Look at. I mean, like, that basically is Michael B. Jordan. That robot face. That's Michael B. Jordan. I mean, like obviously, like, yeah, that's him. Where's my Silver Smooth character? I'm trying to find the Silver Smooth dude. I was like, that guy kind of looks like Michael B. Jordan. Anyways, enough of that. Is it very wholesome? Heavy 8 says wholesome. Yeah, very wholesome. Extremely wholesome. Thank you. Anyways, so back to Terminus Cyberstar. So this is some of the recent updates. So, I'll play the original. I'll play the original trailer here. Wait, no. Oh, sorry. This is an AI test. So Aaron was working on the AI cover system that Aaron had to kind of like design. A lot of this Aaron like does a lot of like. He's just doing a lot of this kind of from scratch because there's not too much out there. Anyway, so this is some of the Terminus Cyberstar, the sequel to Terminus Machina. This is older, so actually the newer version of this, the present version of Terminus Cyberstar has more higher definition graphics. It's closer to, I would say, it's less 1996. It's, like 3 notches up from Half-Life, System Shock 2, Deus Ex, which is based on the first Unreal engine. If you don't know any of these games, I'm sorry. This is like real millennial boomerang out hours. I'm sorry. But like Unreal era, it's like, it's going from that to like Vampire the Masquerade, Deus Ex Invisible War, like 2003 level graphics. It's a little higher. If that doesn't mean anything to you two either, I'm sorry. We're going back to Pen 15, like early Gen Z era. So I'm sorry if you don't know what that means, because you're like Generation Triple Z or whatever comes after ZZ top, ZZ bottom, you know, whichever one you want, top, bottom. But anyways, I don't know what it is, but what this is gonna be higher quality graphics than this. That was an executive decision on Aaron's part. Not that we have AAA, we don't have C-suite executives, but Aaron is doing a lot of the kind of central organizing work and is getting the you know, a lot of the integrating all the parts, the art, the graphics, the level design, the programming all together. So that's like stuff that, and Aaron is like kind of like the producer on it. So, but yeah, that's like an older version. Also, yeah, if you notice there's 10 cities in it. So like I said, the main character starts off basically as a homeless ICE refugee, or a homeless illegal immigrant, basically under the guise of the country that the main character is in. I won't give away too much of the plot, but it's not on Earth. It's in an interstellar civilization, but the main character is a homeless ICE escapee from a literal concentration camp. So it is going to be political. Like, I don't know if you play Terminus Machina or Neofeud. I'm not going to... No, these games are supposed to be about... This supposed to be what Cyberpunk I thought was about, which is about, you know, addressing the asymmetrical oppression and power structures from corporation, capital, racism, sexism, you know, xenophobia, and all those sorts of things. And so the Silver Spoon games, if you don't know that by now, that's what they're about. I don't get published by major publishers. I get shadow banned off all kind of places because I don't want to water down the punkness, you know. So anyways, so that's kind of what it's about. So the main character is a somebody who is similar to the character in the first one, but there's some differences. But it's a similar character, not somebody who is a UNATCO, United Nations Anti-Terrorism Coalition. They're not Liam Neeson getting his daughters taken by the Russians and then using James Bond and Mission Impossible laser tripwire fancy pens and, like, you know, red checkered black 777 level black belt kung fu punches and using lots of silence missiles and, you know, rocket propelled full metal jacket bullets to kill lots of people good. No, the main character is a homeless person. Just like a lot of people that are actually doing anything useful in the United States are actually homeless. So you can become housed, but it's a struggle. You'll struggle against surveillance. You'll struggle against the police, the robotic police, who don't feel pain or remorse. They don't feel doubt or regret or anything. And they absolutely will not stop until you're separated from your parents, put into a concentration camp, and having your reproductive system removed by eugenics doctors like the United States has. So like it's ongoing genocides. So that's a lot of Terminus Machina and Terminus Cyberstar deal with the present, and Neofeud deal with the present issues of our day, not issues that are gone and apolitical now, or in a badly done way that benefits imperial collapsing hyper-capitalist countries' agendas and power structures. They're dealing with today's material. That's a thing I try to make very, that's an important difference, because you can have a political game that's dealing with the struggle for, the struggle for, to end slavery, which is a good, that was a struggle, right? But that's not a thing that, like the slavery of the 1860s, but that's not a thing that is, dealing with things that are happening right now, like, for example, the oppression and just treating treating people like inhumanly, that happens with trans people, with people of color, people of in the ways that there is slavery today, but it happens differently, like dealing with the prison industrial complex, right? You don't see a lot of mainstream Hollywood movies or mainstream games like dealing specifically with the fact that police, mass imprison and unjustly kill and commit more crime than the average citizen. You don't see a lot of that. You don't see a lot of that. So that's what I count as cyberpunk. It has to be, to me, like, it has to be political and political right now, not dealing with something that used to be an issue that was dealt with a long time. It should be dealing with what's happening right now. That's why the only cyberpunk is mostly indie games made by trans people of color, LGBTQ+, maybe means TV, but everything other than that is just a bunch of 80s retro future reskinned over Grand Theft Auto. Anyways, Terminus Cyberstar, it looks more like this now. So it's not Cyberpunk 2077 level graphics, although I don't know what that means. Depends on, like, you know, depends on if you, one of the millions of people that had your actually, some people said Neofeud 1, which is made by one person and uses like a 20-year-old engine, has better graphics and functionality than Cyberpunk 2077 on release. Because the engine wasn't even rendering faces. So I don't know, but it's Terminus Machina is not, you know, at the AAA level, like a functioning AAA game, if there are any. It's not at the level of graphical fidelity of a functioning AAA game, right? That's what I mean. But it's a game that is, you know, it's you know, that's why I'm playing Invisible War, because it actually reminds me a lot of Deus Ex Invisible War, like the level of detail. But that's one of the latest updates there. I got a bunch of other ones. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, this is the same thing that Aaron was showing. Yeah, that's that one. Yeah, like you can see there's a little more like detail on the cars. It's not just kind of like the shaders and such. The shaders and specular highlights and other like surface details. The volumetric lighting and such is a little bit it's a little bit more advanced than it was initially, I think. Initially we had kind of like, it was not quite Minecraft, but it was closer to that level. But I think Aaron, part of it is because Terminus Machina is a little bit, I think we wanted to get away from it being too cartoonish, just because of a lot of the subject matter. It was a little bit jarring. Not that like Neofeud is not super high graphics, you know, but it is kind of, it's not really cartoonish though, Neofeud, but it's not super high graphical fidelity. But we didn't want it to look too like Minecrafty, I guess. That's more like Minecrafty, not really cartoonish, because it just wouldn't. We don't want to kind of give off the idea that this is like a thing for like young kids, because it really isn't. The subject matter is like as serious as well, I was gonna say the big C, but you know, it's very serious. It's serious as being in the United States in 2021 with no electricity and being evicted in the middle of a pandemic. It's about the present, you know. It's about whatever. What I say, like when I do these streams and I do like the high decibel jet volume, jet engine decibel level education, it's not ranting. It's just very intense. You know, merry-go-round of tangent filled education, you know. But anyway, what I do on the streams and what I talk about are things that are dealt with in the games. You know, that's what I want them to be. You know, I mean, as a native Hawaiian person who lived in ghettos and worked for a decade or more while going to one of the richest schools in one of the richest areas in the United States, to be honest, in the world, and living in a very impoverished area. And then going back and forth, like this is like central to a lot of the stuff that I do. I mean, everybody doesn't have to do that. I do that because that's who I am, right? You can make just entertaining games, or you just make fun RPGs or first-person shooters, but that's not what I do. And so similarly, that's kind of what the game is going to involve. So if you just want to check your brain out and do absolutely no thinking at all, it's going to be a little tricky. Now you could, I would say that you could. And I understand that too, because I love playing Doom and I love playing like just games that I don't have to think about too much. And then sometimes I love playing games that I want to think a little bit about, you know, like Deus Ex. That game is I'm playing Deus Ex Invisible War. There's a lot of discussion and Deus Ex of, you know, is too much economic interference, or, you know, is the World Trade Organization represent a positive or negative impact, you know, you know. But that's more thinking than you would do if you're just running around shooting demons, you know, or just putting blocks together in Tetris, right? So that's what we do here. That's what I do. Oh, this is a scene from Neofeud 2. Also, it wasn't Dismaton, but it's Dismaton if you've ever played that one. Oh, maybe I'll show the trailer for that. Maybe so I can find the Dismaton trailer. Because the Dismaton trailer is actually, it was a game I worked on shortly after Neofeud 1 was finished, and I was thinking about what to work on next. me see if I can get the trailer for that. Dismaton trailer. Holly voices the main character in this. Some people call her Mrs. Twilight. Not Holly, the character. I am not Edward Cullen. I do not glisten like a exploding champagne foam in the daylight. Also, I'm not a brooding, weirdly toxic stalker coated blood drinking creep. So not the character in this trailer sounds like Mrs. Twilight. I just want to clarify that Holly isn't Mrs. Twilight. Where is the trailer though? It's gone. This is the character though. That was from the original Dismaton. Oh, here it is right there. It's not gone. I'm just bad at finding things. Like my ass from a hole in the wall, or my Photoshop layers that have the 7-function force feedback, retractable polymimetic alloy augmentations in them. I was animating a character that has retractable polymimetic alloy. Well, no, technically it's not. It's mimetic nano discombobulation alloy, because I don't want to get sued by Jamie Cameron. Anyways,
the future is.
There are characters who are have liquidy, metally, nanotechnologically stuff in them in Neofeud 2 and Neofeud 1. So I was just animating that. Anyway, so yeah, I told you it's a merry-go-round of tangents. But now we're back into Dismaton. This is the trailer for this is like what was initially the first work on Neofeud 2. And fun fact, I'll just let it out now. Neofeud and Terminus Machina are set in the same universe. Well, what is a universe in Neofeud? It's complicated, universe-ish thing. Can't really talk about it too much, but Neofeud 2 and Terminus Cyberstar are definitely situated within like a very similar space. So so this trailer it is all connected. It's the way that I've kind of I was working on two totally separate universes. It just wasn't working. And so I'm like, I started the process of kind of like fusing. So Silver Spook, the character, Hexgen and the collapsing San Francisco with the drone bombings, and Carl Carbon, the underpaid cyborg social worker for homeless, sentient machines, and transgenic half-wolf children being discarded from their parent eugenics corporations. That's all in the same universe. So it's not all, might not understand how it's all related, but I'm working on that whole process. It's a process. I have like 1.5 million words. If you add up all of it together, there's probably like 1.5 million words. I have just the Neofeud 2 document is like 400,000 words. It's a lot of words. I don't know if you noticed though, but I say a lot of words. I probably say 400 million words per stream. All right, let's watch this trailer.
The future is a half-remembered pipe dream, drifting away with the smoke of burning honeymoon bed sheets. F-Day plays eternal.
Okay, actually, wait. Let me fix my background real fast. I have I feel like I'm inside of a Ridley Scott cinematographic cathedral. Just like a gem of cinematography. Where the lighting is constantly shifting. I imagine like Blade Runner. Strafing airship aerostat lighting just constantly shifting in my background. The problem with that, also Blade Runner with more chickens and roosters. The problem with the strafing lighting though is I can't keep the freaking green screened out. So sorry about that. Okay, back to this.
In my mind, half-remembered pipe dream, drifting away with the smoke of burning honeymoon bed sheets. F-Day plays eternally in my mind, like a holovid stuck on repeat. Our dream house blueprint in his hand, about to say, I love you. Then he is collapsing, like these buildings, this city, this planet. A bloody heap of stillborn dreams.
Due to Know Your Colonist regulations, we are required to collect official identification and biometric data, including bodily fluids and other organic tissue.
Sounds tempting, Ultron, but I think I'll pass on the free vivisection.
I'm sorry. I didn't understand that. Could you please say that again?
I said, God damn it, I hate global catastrophic system failures.
Please wait while I transfer you to a human agent. None found.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's just like a little scene that from it used to be called Dismaton, but it's like it's all being merged into Neofeud 2. So and technically that's all set also in kind of like the Terminus Cyberstar world, that still working on how and where the crossover is. There are not too many direct crossovers, but it's there are similar organizations, corporations, and other entities in both of them. And let me get my music back here. So anyway, that's some of like the Neofeud 2. Why am I showing that? I forgot. Anyways, so that's technically that's some of the updates on Neofeud 2. But Terminus Cyberstar again. So if you want to get up to date on what's happening with that game I was showing, you can follow. Where the heck is it? That's Max Blumenthal. You should probably follow that one actual journalist in a 330 million country of brain poisoned individuals. Anyway, at Terminus Cyberstar, at Terminus C, you can follow that for a low poly cyberpunk immersive sim in the vein of late 90s PC games. If you want updates, so like if Aaron is here, Aaron just put this up. So our animator is getting animations ready. So this is like another update on the animations. So Aaron's got Aaron has a lot of connections and has worked in. Aaron works on very big games, medium games, and smaller games. And so, and has worked on AAA to single A, and still works on some variety sizes of games and massively online multiplayer RPGs, MMOs. So that's like one of the things that the animator is working on. Yeah, our animator is getting ready for animations for our big gameplay presentation. So yeah, so if you want to get updates on that, and again, like I said, currently the release date is. The release window is sometime in March, late March. That's what Aaron said. Could be pushed back. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed for what? 8 years, 36 times, and then it wasn't even barely finished. It was deeply unfinished when it came out. So I mean, if we push it back 1 month, for one time, that's nothing, right? I mean, if you want to, if it does come out like on time, I would follow at Terminus C, and then you'll know when it comes out. And also you get these updates that Aaron has more of it, because like I said, I'm mostly focusing on Neofeud. Most of my energy is directed at Neofeud 2 right now, like I said. Less at this one. Like a lot of my work was early on with the design, it's just like writing up the blueprints, like I said. So Aaron's currently working on finishing that up. But yeah, follow that. You can join the Discord there at the Terminus Cyberstar Discord if you want to talk. And most people there are pretty friendly. If you're lucky, like Aaron might be able to hook you up. Like he knows a lot of people and other people there. There are other veteran game devs there, like 10, 20, 30-year veteran devs in the industry. So they might be able to, I think there's at least some people that like found other jobs in game dev, like whether that's level, art, music, programming, AI, integration, voice acting, modeling. Other people have, I think Aaron has been able to find, because Aaron has done a lot of management. That's not a thing I've done. Aaron has managed like bigger teams. So like he's been able to like has found some people that have come in and then kind of hook them up with another team. So I mean, that's something that you might even consider. I mean, you might even think about jumping in there just for the possible connections there. On top of being able to see what's happening with this game. So yeah. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I need to say about that. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? No, that's the updates on Terminus Cyberstar. Yeah, So it's March 6th. So it's technically 25 days if it's on schedule. Okay. Let me just turn this off for a second and look at my list here. So I said I was going to talk about. Okay, yeah, and I got to get off by 12:30. So you've got about an hour. Cyberpunk is still 2021. Neofeud 2, Terminus, Cyberstar updates. Yeah. So I play the Neofeud 2 trailer all the time. I'm just gonna play the official Neofeud 2 trailer right now. Just you know, I'll put the sound on that one too. Let's try that again. Anyway, so that's like the Neofeud 2 that's the Neofeud 2 trailer. So that game again, I'm like trying to get that out within this year. We will see how that goes. Yeah, I'm spending like majority of my time, like probably like, you know, 6 to 8 hours working on writing. Again, on Neofeud 2, I am writing, programming, like writing the storyline, the character, the dialogue, interactions, everything, the plot, the background, everything, the world building, and then doing the art, background art, all of the art you just saw, the animations, etc., character art, everything, and then the programming it in Adventure Game Studio. So it's a point-and-click adventure game. So getting all the coding right and the puzzles, solutions, all that kind of stuff, character walking, character animating, functioning properly. I do all of those at the same time. It's a weird kind of organic design process that is pretty specific to Neofeud and Neofeud 2. It doesn't work very well when I do it in other ways. It's just kind of how it has to happen, because that's just the style of game that it produces. This weird, very like satirical, off the wall, surreal sort of game, which is kind of how I want it to be. But then it does take a little bit more time. Terminus Machina and Terminus Cyberstar are different sorts of games that they're much more conducive to like teams. So anyways, well, long story short, so I'm trying to, I know that's the one, I'm going to say that probably 75 more times. Long story short, 8 hours later, long story short, I'm like, long story short, I'm going to have like a bucket of shortbread, and I'm like, this is my short story, and I'm going to be like, long story short, and then throw it. Anyways, this is my short story bread. Anyways, so Neofeud 2 is going to be coming. I'm trying to get it done sometime this year. That is what I wanted to say. Comrade Inter says, apparently there's a resurgence of Twilight fandom. Blade Runner, but it's remade by Pixar and Zootopia extras. Yeah, thanks a lot, comrade Ludlovert. What is happening, Ludlovert? Oh yeah, that's something I'm going to bring up. I am going to be in the American Johnson. I think it's EJ has made it public, right? What's happening today? I'm pretty sure that's what happened, right? EJ is going to American Johnson, which is a friend of mine. I went on the stream Non-Compete, also from the channel Non-Compete. Non-Compete is does a lot of streams about politics, leftist politics, and videos, and a lot of that action. Currently is American that lives in Vietnam. EJ is, and his partner Luna Oi is a Vietnamese woman. Did EJ say that was gonna happen? But anyway, I'm gonna be on EJ's stream. There's gonna be a big event. EJ announced, right, the event? Did EJ announce the event? Anyway, EJ and Luna are having a big announcement, and there's gonna be a big celebration for these folks, and I'll be on it. I'm not sure if they publicly put it out there, so I'm not gonna say what it is, but there's a very big life-changing announcement and celebration for EJ and Luna. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna be on that stream at 5 o'clock. Well, it's gonna be 10 p.m. Eastern time today, Saturday. So I'm gonna be in that as well. So I do want to bring that up. So congratulations to on an undisclosed, unknown, very life-changing, surprising, eventful, happy, once in a lifetime, or well, maybe more depending, sort of event for EJ and Luna. So congratulations to them. So yeah, check that out. They announced it. Yeah, okay. So they announced it. EJ and Luna are getting married. They're gonna have a live streamed digital in the year of the flood. I'm sorry, the COVID-19 pandemic. They're gonna have a year of the flood digital streamed wedding. EJ and Luna getting married. Congratulations to both of them. I think they're having a real like in-person one too, but then the online one is kind of like for all of their friends who are not present in the physical place where they are, and they have a lot of them. So yeah, so check that out. Extremely online wedding. The extremely online wedding, exactly. Yeah. Okay. What else was I supposed to talk about? Yeah. So so that's what's happening with the games. Oh yeah, I was like, maybe I'll just show a little bit of like how the show a little bit of what's happening in the game itself. Or I'll show somebody. So Lawsuit said you should do some game dev. The way that I game dev is not always that interesting. I've done it before. The Silver Spook stream started like 4 years ago as game developer streams. So, but I don't know the things that I do there. I don't know if I just was not finding the right audiences to watch it or what, or just like bad at. I was like not as bad. I was not as good or not as high brand recognition or follower count in 2017. But I was like, I don't know if I want to do like that, but I'll do a little bit just since today we're talking about the Silver Spook games. I'll show a little bit of what's happening in the actual development process. Let me see if I can find that. Give me 1 second. I gotta open up a file here that I was just working on. Yeah, but somebody asked me like, how do you do? Like somebody asked, how do you do the art for Neofeud and Neofeud 2? How is that created? So I'll give you a very short, like, quick little tutorial on that, or like a little, just not really tutorial, just like a little inside sneak peek on this. If this Photoshop would ever function properly, it might take a little bit to open this file up. Yeah, it looks like Photoshop is gonna flip out for a second there. But yeah, like short story long, because I'm gonna tell like the literal, like I'm gonna tell like the Bible crossed with the Quran crossed with like every single J.R. Tolkien book and all of his hurricane of papers that he left for all of his descendants to sell off on eBay and as non-fungible Tolkien's Middle Earth lore for millions of dollars per sheet of JRR paper. Anyways, I'm gonna tell a story that's that long. I already did that. That's what I just did. So anyway, but I really want to, you know, when I do the art, like it's not the most advanced system. It's not the most advanced system. It's like old school sprite animation. It's not really a it doesn't use like a lot of the things that even Flash had really. It doesn't have vector transformation, but the engine Adventure Game Studio is pretty retro. It's basically sprite. It's just like image. So like if you have an animation of somebody waving, it's like 6 PNGs. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6. Think of a JPEG image, right? With the most advanced thing it has is an alpha channel basically, and then it's 2D sprites. You import the sprites. You can do pixel art, right? You're animating each frame of animation with the hand moving, right? Or, you know, the face smiling or whatever it is. The robot arm extruding a 7-function force feedback letter opener that's rusted to shit and breaks off when you stick it inside of like your car door that's also broken because you're a homeless socialist social worker, you know. And so when you're extruding the 7-function force feedback rusty letter opener that you tell hot chicks is a Wolverine adamantium blade, and try to scare off hoodlums, even though it wouldn't do anything. Maybe it would like open their envelopes for them, and they could look at their, you know, $16,751 Texas electrical bill. I mean, that would be pretty terrifying, actually. You're just like, hey, don't come any closer. I'll reveal to you your electrical bill, and then cause you a heart attack and kill you. You could actually kill someone just by revealing their financial crises to them. I hope I haven't done that for you when I do these streams, by the way. Oh, look, it's a photo. No, it's not open. I was hoping, I'm just trying to distract while Photoshop crunches the 700 layers worth of art that I did. It's not opening. Anyway, let me look at chat. Let me look at the chat. Oh, how's it going? Hey, Lasu is in there. What's up, Lasu? I can speak here. It's amazing. I spent much of the last month trying to figure out pixel art. I've been using Ace Sprite since the year began. Yeah, Ace Sprite I think is pretty good. It's pretty good. I think I've used that before. Some people use the GIMP graphical image manipulator. I don't forget what it stands for. You can use that one. It's free open source if I'm not mistaken. I have an ancient version of Photoshop from like 2003. I like my image creation. I like my digital animation creation tools like I like my games, you know. Ancient, obsolete, unsupported on anything after Windows Vista. And without digital rights management, games as a service, and non-fungible tokens. I don't want any non-fungible tokens, okay, of Neofeud. If I see anybody producing Neofeud, freaking like levitating Omnizon tentacled War of the Worlds spaceships with like hordes of billions of drones carrying, Omnizon Prime boxes full of all kind of terror devices. If I see any pictures of that, as a non-fungible token being traded for $700 million between Elon Musk and Bill Gates, while they're playing around with the $6 trillion worth of play money in the online casino for plutocrats called the Western financial system. If I see anybody playing Neofeud non-fungible token freaking digital Van Gogh Shanghaiing games, you're all gonna be in big trouble. You're gonna go on timeout, okay? You're gonna go on timeout, okay? Elon, sit down. You're gonna go on timeout. Don't fuck around with my art, okay? I took like at least 5 minutes to make that picture, okay? Jesus. Freaking being isolated is awful. If you don't know what a non-fungible token is, I might talk about that today or tomorrow. We'll see if I get some time for that. Everybody's talking about that. It's just it is what it is. Come on, Photoshop. My photo. Thankfully the stream hasn't crashed, but the Photoshop is taking me some time. Let me read the chats more. Only crime. Tell white people to leave the space that wasn't for them. Oh, that's yep. Yeah, that can be tough. That's gonna be tough. I rewatched Blade Runner 2049 like 45 times. I'm not joking about that. I watch it every day. I have it memorized like the back of my hand. I actually don't have the back of my hand memorized. I'm looking at it. I'm like, was that Dane there before? Like what? Wait, what? Was that retractable? Was that retractable plasma torch there before on my cyber hand? I don't know. Anyways, look, it's open. Ha ha. Aha! I distracted you again. I should have been a magician. I could have made a lot of money with White Tigers and Siskel and Ebert, or was it Ebert and Royper? No, Siegfried and Roy. Never mind. Check this out. No, not that. That's the internet. Check this out. Okay, this is Photoshop. This is Photoshop. This is where I make the animations. As you can see, dude has his arm disconnected. So like each one of the animations for Neofeud and Neofeud 2 are basically like, oh, my head's kind of in the way. Hold on. Let me decrease my megalomaniacal tendencies. Oh, error. Megalomaniacal tendencies undecreasable. Try again. Never mind. I'll just move my megalomaniacal tendencies over there. So anyways, you can the way that I do it is I basically have like I'll just show you an example. So this is gonna be slightly, well, it's not really a spoiler, but you know, yeah. So this sequence has a lot of animations. I don't know if can you see that in the bottom right? So let me put the black in the background here so I can see what's happening there. So you can see a little bit better. So this is like the dude. The main character in Neofeud 2 is a ex-colonial marine. You know Captain Eutropia, that song I like to sing a lot. This is one of the Captain Eutropias. Or he watched too much too much space Death Star made movies, and then he became a colonial marine, right? Or maybe he was manufactured by a giant eugenics processing plant that installs, you know, synthesized human consciousnesses into, you know, advanced, you know, endoskeletons with RPG and waterboarding, retractable waterboarders and fireboarders coming out of their forearm. So this is one of those dudes who went around the universe and did terrible things to a lot of people. But then also his entire now he's back and he's a veteran, and now his entire consciousness, he has to pay existence rent. If he doesn't pay his existence rent within less than 24 hours, basically if you don't pay your existence rent, your personality, your matrix, what makes you is deleted from the substrate as described in the terms of service of the Neuralink. In the Evil Corp brain, corporal brain. So if you don't pay your existence rent, your entire existence is deleted, and then someone else is installed in it, or they just take it back and then they melt it down into scrap metal and they turn what used to be your body into, I don't know, Elon Musk Cybertruck 3.0. I'm sorry, not Elon Musk. Elon Husk or somebody else who's not him. And then so this character is constantly trying to pay his rent. If he doesn't pay his body rent, like his little body, it breaks down. If he thinks the wrong thought, it just like, it's just, he thinks the word like Black Lives Matter, and he just can't think that. If you're thinking about, maybe I should go on a rent strike. I'm sorry, this thought is illegal ideology. According to your terms of service, you know, banned ideology and terroristic threatening from the Sovenon, this is CCCP or PCC or CCC, CPPC, CCCC, PVC pipe ideology. This is plastic communism. And if you think that thought again, we will cut your head off and put it into a frozen vat and put you on cold storage and utilize you for a neurolocked Uber driver with no body for the rest of your miserable existence. And so anyway, so this character is constantly trying to survive. Long story short, long story long. I'm sorry. And so he has to use his powers that he has. Like for example, super strength. He has some powers left over from the military. Like he has extremely hyped up elastomers and synthetic muscle fibers that can, you know, it's like Adam Jensen, JC Denton bullshit. But the problem is his body's also falling apart and breaking every second. Like literally, his head broke off. Just like that. I meant to do that. His head just broke off. I'm kidding. I changed the Photoshop layer. His body is falling apart all the time on him, while he's also paying for it. You ever like pay $3,000 to rent a house that is full of asbestos, bed bugs, literally collapsing The water comes out smelling like burning plastic and dog shit and liquid Drano blended up. You ever had that? But then you still gotta pay $3,000. It's kind of like that, but your literal body. You know, so you ever pay like medical debt, and then the healthcare that you get for your your insurance premiums is terrible. It's kind of like that, but then you literally will be deleted if you don't pay it. So anyway, this character is like exerting himself. Oh shit, this is like, you know, and then he falls down. Oh, yeah, let me see if I can get the rest of that one. I mean, oh here, I'll show you here. Yeah. So he's exerting himself, trying to get his open up his, you know, the door to his MRI coffin apartment. It's like literally just a coffin, hole in the wall, look like a morgue box. It's for you to die in. I mean, to die inside. You still have to live and go to work every day, but you have to die inside. It's a hole in the wall that costs $2,000 a month to live in a hole in the wall. And he's trying to open the door because it's frozen shut, and the landlord says, "I'm not gonna fix it for you. I'm not gonna fix it for you. You go open it yourself. And also, if you don't pay your rent, your apartment rent and your existence rent, well, you'll just be a homeless non-person, on top of being dead. So I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna collect on your dead body though. I'm gonna come and extract little bits of your synthetic kidney, and then I'm gonna sell that off for the rent that you didn't pay me. I mean, the house rent." Anyway, so this character is constantly struggling with these problems, and is deeply disabled, obviously, because of this. His arm breaks off, his arm freezes up, his brain doesn't remember things properly. He like forgets what year it is. So he's got physical and a lot of and the corporation's like, "Well, yeah, your brain is messed up, but that's not our fault, and you still got to pay $800 or $2,000 a month to keep having a brain." So so his arm snaps off, and then he has to kind of like, anyway, I'm not really telling you how to animate, am I? I'm just kind of like rehashing the script for Neofeud 2. But so like in the animation sequence, so he gets this blowtorch from one of his friends, and then he's like lifting it up. So you can see like each frame of animation is kind of like a bunch of layers. So I don't know if you can see this here. Is that moving? Okay, yeah. So that's like one of the arm layers. Yeah, that's like the lower arm. So if I want to animate this, I'll kind of like, it's pretty simple. I just like, I move this. I wrote, like if I wanted to make that broken off, snapped off hand with all of the internal tendons, ligaments, and synthetic, you know, red, yellow, and green, you know, wires, you know, popping out. I just kind of move them. I drag it, move it, scale it, if it, and then I repaint it. That's how Neofeud 1 was done. Like this is the torch over here. Oh yeah, that's the arm, and then the torch is up here. So, you know, like, you know, I'm just like, it's pretty simple stuff, right? And then after, you know, like if I want to make another, let me just give you an example. So if I want to make him, and let's say I'm over this life. I give up on life. Don't give up on life. You know, this character's life is not doing too good. I'm like, I just want to end it all. So, you know, or, you know, I'm just like, or I don't know, my goodness, like do something less depressing. Oh my goodness, I was inhaling some liquid crystal lithium. Crystal lithium is a cyber narcotic produced and dropped into the ghettos and the impoverished areas of the world, which is most of it. And it's for sentient machines to imbibe, and it causes hallucinations, euphoric experiences, but also leads to blue screen of death of your cybrain. So anyway, so let's say I'm gonna like, oh no, I got a piece of lithium stuck in my nose, and now I can't breathe because it like crystallized. It turned into an actual crystal in my nose. So I want to make him animate. See, I'm always just writing stories like all the time. So I'm like, I'm gonna make this sequence. I'm gonna put, and I'm gonna make, you know, just like rotate it. I duplicate that group of layers. Kama, you should be watching this because Kama might be helping me out with this soon. You know, and then I'll just take the next. Yeah, actually, this is a good. This is like training. And streaming at the same time. So then, anyway, just kind of rotate it again. And I'm like, I'm gonna stick it in my nose, right? Now this is not very good. It's gonna be a very choppy animation, but you get the point. And you have his, where's his, yeah, here's his upper arm. So there's like another layer for his upper arm. I'm gonna delete all this when I'm done, because this is not what happens in the game. He doesn't stick his blowtorch in his own nose. There's a little elbow joint. Yeah, you see this got a little metal elbow joint there. Okay, so he sticks his torch in his nose, And then he's like, I don't know what the story. This is how I literally write Neofeud. I just like make stuff up while I'm doing this. Like, what is this dude doing? I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to get his boogers out with the freaking plasma torch. Cause like, it's like, obviously you have machine boogers. I mean, you've got all this bit rot, and you got non-fungible Tolkiens, you know, that, you know, you were Shanghaiing for Elon Musk. I mean, I'm sorry, Elon Johannesburg and Jeffrey Biznis. Jeffrey Business. Jeff Business Kitty. You know, you're Shanghaiing non-fungible, you know, J.K. Rowling Turfians, or you're trafficking little digital crypto coin backed Van Goghs in your nose, and then you got to get it out, you know, because you're doing your courier gig job for your rich asshole, right? And you just got to get it out of your nose. I mean, that sounds believable. I believe it. Stick it up your nose a little. There you go. So now, once you get it in the nose, okay, now I'm gonna turn the blowtorch on, and I'm gonna see what happens. Okay, if I can't dislodge this token, if I can't dislodge my nasal token, crypto token for Jeffrey Business Kitty, how am I supposed to pay my existent rent? Okay, well, I don't know. Use blowtorch on nasal cavity. So I want to take, where's my freaking blowtorch? It's somewhere over here. Where the hell is it? Where is it? Oh, here. Oh yeah, so here's the animation with the shoving it up his nose. And then, okay, so this is the cutting hand. Oh yeah, so in this, so this dude has to put, it's a long story, but basically, the main character, you know, Mr. Colonial X Stormtrooper with like collapsing brain architecture and physical body, right? Has to shove a freaking hand in somebody else's hand in his mouth. And there's a line where it's like because his arm, because part of the joke, part of the deal is one of his arms breaks. One of his robo friends is like, "Oh my god, dude, you're falling apart. You're literally falling apart, just like me. My hand broke off when, you know, my corporation ordered me into the hydraulic compactor. You know, like, just like what do I look like? Do I look like a stupid Terminator to you? You think I'm gonna go into some like extremely high-powered hydraulic car smasher, you know, and get crushed like Arnold's robotic character in T1 by Sarah Connor? I'm not stupid." And the corporation's like, "Well, if you don't get in there, you're fired." And so, you know, and I'm, dude, like so I went in and the trash compactor accidentally smashed my hand off. And so here, I don't have a broken hand. Here you can have, so that's that other hand that he's picking up and shoving in his mouth. But so this guy is like, okay, well, now I have a hand. Well, how I could use it and scrap it for parts. He has to chop his friend's hand off. It's already broken up, but he has to chop it off the finger, chop the palm off, chop the thumb off. You know, I'm gonna use this. The thumb is gonna like go up my ass. You know, well, maybe not up my ass. You know, but, the thumb is gonna be like a replacement screw. I'm gonna take the wire out, strip them, and use them as replacement wires for my shredded arm joint, right? And so, but he's like, wait, but how do I blowtorch the hand when I only have one hand because my other one's broken, right? So he's like, so he has to like shove his friend's broken hand in his mouth. Anyway, so that's what that animation is. So yeah, so eat your friend's hand and then hold it. He's like, I can hold it in my mouth and then, right? And then while it's stuck in my mouth, I can take my blowtorch out. So now you can see how animation works, right? This is like people pay like $50,000 for like 2 weeks seminar. Like I'm like $500. I'm worth $500 an hour. I'm gonna be doing a Zoom conference for like $500 for an hour of labor. So I mean, this is like you're getting your money's worth. 2 hours. It's $1,000 of Silver Spook juju. Anyway, so I'm just kidding. I'm gonna charge you for this. But anyways, this is so he takes his blowtorch out and he's like chopping the hand while he's literally biting down on it because he has no other hand to use. So anyway, so that's point and clicky adventure fun, you know, like I said. So anyway, I'm gonna get the blowtorch. So this animation, this is like, you know, I have the spark layer. This is like, you know, I don't know. I think I just like took a picture of my children shooting morning glories off, and then I don't know where I think I just paid. That might have been from Neofeud 1. Some of this I'm borrowing, like I'm like retweaking it. If you play Neofeud 1, you know there's a blowtorch sequences, more than one. The main character has a retractable blowtorch that's constantly out of oxygen fuel. oxyacetylene torch. Hot enough to cut tungsten. Unfortunately, I don't have any oxygen. Because Earth's atmosphere has been depleted of it by its billionaires. And then it's being sold back to you. No, that's not in Neofeud 1. That's in Neofeud 2. You literally have to buy oxygen in Neofeud 2 from Jeffrey Biznis Kitty and Elongated Muskrat. Anyways, if I want to make another, I want to take this sequence. I'll take the spark, and then I'm gonna drop it on the. No, don't delete the layers. Yeah. So a lot of this is like layers and groups and stuff, and then I'll take this animation sequence, and I'll take it and stick it into the part where he has his nose. Oh, now he's a shadow of his former self. Now he's a very magenta, very 80s shadow of his former self. Where's the blowtorch in my nose one? Oh, here. Okay. See, one thing I've learned a lot in the last 4 years. I've like really grown as a person and as a digital artist, as a game developer, and I learned how to label my layers. If you ever watched the first Silver Spook live streams, when there was like 1 or 2 people watching it, and one of them was me, and the other one was my imaginary friend, and the third one was Holly, I spent about half of the time trying to find my layer. Like, where did I put my layer? Because everything is called like Untitled 1, Untitled 77, Untitled 88. Everything was untitled. So I learned how to label my layers. I've gotten better at this. It's pretty amazing. I'm really proud of myself. Anyway, so what I'll do is back to the animating. So I'll put the spark in his nose, and then I'll put the body flame thingy. I gotta adjust the lighting. It's all over the place now. Here, I'll just merge all this garbage. It's not gonna look as good, but whatever. And then put this back on his face. Yeah, that's not quite what I wanted to have happen, but yeah. So there's a variety, and then, I don't know. This is like something that like in Neofeud 1, like when the characters that get like lighting, there is no lighting effects. It's just all baked into Photoshop. So like you can set like hard lighting, and then it looks like you're in the 80s. It looks like somebody just exploded like an Indian wedding's worth of cumin and purple dye all over your face. That's not quite what I wanted. Let's see, turn this sideways. I don't know what the hell. Oh, what is this? What is going on here? I don't know what I did here. What is this? Shit, I don't know what it is. Okay, I'll just redo this. Okay, so I'll show you. This is another thing I do is I use a Wacom tablet that looks like it's taped to the wall. So I can't move it too far. But yeah, anyway, that's where it is. And I use the Wacom tablet to basically just paint a lot of things. Like so I'm gonna just like paint the lighting. I like literally this is not right. This is not right. That's not right either. No, that's not right. What did I? How did I do this? Okay, shit. Okay, I'll redo his whole face. Then you'll learn how to make it look like people are blowtorching their nose in the video game. Never blowtorch your nose in real life. That would be a violation of the term of service, because that could kill you. And I think killing yourself is I don't know if that's euthanasia is illegal. Anyways, so what you do is you get kind of like the color, like the lighting condition. I just kind of like paint it right on there. So like there is no lighting, subsurface scattering, occlusion, realistic real-time shadows. There's like the most advanced technology is anisotropic anti-aliasing, anisotropic filtering, and maybe anti-aliasing, which is invented in like ye old 1992. But basically everything that happens in Neofeud 1 is painted in place like this. Where's the flame? Oh, that's what I'm like, this doesn't look right, because you know what it is, because the flame is missing. I literally just paint the light into the screen like this. It's just kind of, it gives it kind of like a weird surreal impressionistic sort of style because I am Monet, and you should buy my non-fungible dystopia tokens for $2 million because I'm digital Monet. I think Monet was an impressionist. I could be wrong. Anyways, so where's my blowtorch? The blowtorch. I need the actual. I need the flame here. Where is the flame? Where is the flame? 1, 2. There it is. Okay. So I'm gonna take the blowtorch flame. I'm gonna, what I'm gonna do before I take the blowtorch flame, I'm gonna name it blowtorch flame in all caps, because otherwise I only read it in all caps, you know. I'll lose it while I'm trying to stream at the same time. So the blowtorch flame, stick it on. Yeah. I'm gonna stick it right in his nose. Oh my goodness, it looks. Well, that doesn't look quite right because it looks like he's burning his face off. I'm not sure if that's exactly what. That wasn't quite the effect I wanted. Well, this one here, normal. Yeah, it looks a little better. My God. Okay, so that looks like he's just chopping his face off. Well, you see, that's how Neofeud happens. Yeah, so he had to chop his face off so that he could replace his forehead, because, you know, he got a little too much nanite plague and it started like chewing away at his, his weathered, very intense Bruce Willis brow, and so he had to replace his Bruce Willis brow. Otherwise, people wouldn't believe he was a cyberpunk protagonist, and so that's why he's chopping his forehead off, right? Because if his very intense, serious Johnny Mnemonic, Clint Eastwood glare ever comes off, people will stop believing that he's like a badass, and so that's why he's chopping his face off. So anyway, that's not literally the storyline for this, but that's kind of how sometimes the storyline gets written, and then I'll just write that down, and then that goes in the game. Anyways, there was a part where it was like, oh, this guy looks like he wants to be Bruce Willis, but he's like too bedraggled, receding hairline. Oh, you look like you're frowning all the time, like this brown bag motherfucker, like, was like, he's like, oh hell no, Bruce Willis. He's like, do I look like a cop to you? Hell no, bedraggled, receding hairline, frowning all the time like some, somebody just spatting you a brown bag bottle of vodka that you're carrying around because you're just a brooding alcoholic, and then the Protege and Carl Carbon, their interactions, he just like keeps on like going off at it and making fun of him, and then Carl's just getting more pissed off. He's like, shut up, I'm not a cop. I was fired from the police department for refusing to shoot an innocent marginalized person. Stop making fun of me for being a cop. He's like, well, you was a cop. It's entrapment. That's a hashtag. That's not entrapment. But anyways, nobody knows what I'm talking about. I'm just like going off to myself. But anyways, so what it is that's how the animation works. This is obviously, I messed that up, but you can kind of see how it works. So when you put it all together, right? You take the brain, okay, that's really screwed up. But you get it. And then when it is all together, each one of these images has to be saved out as a PNG file. It's like I said, it's super old school. So you save each one of these images, like this. I don't know if you can see this, right? So like the character's arm, like here's the one where the blowtorch is being torching his finger, right? This is the one where he's like shoving the hand in his mouth. This is him like smoking his friend's finger. I don't know what that is. This is him standing up after he gets his arm ripped off. So that's how the art's done. I mean, designing the character, that's a whole nother long thing. It's 12:10, so I'm gonna jump forward. And this is where the game is programmed. So after I'm done putting the art in the game, I'll go and I'll add it to the Adventure Game Studio software, which is a free open source game development tool. No digital rights management. There's no game as a service. There's no subscriptions. It's just like you get it. If it works on your system, it works on your system. It is updated, but when it renders out an executable file, It renders into Linux as well. It doesn't have like the best support for all the newer systems because it is an old engine, but you can port it to, I think you can port it to iOS, some tablets, but it takes some doing. I don't have the time to do that right now. I did port it to Mac and Linux, Neofeud 1, but Unity has the benefit of rendering to consoles, most modern systems. But then it also renders, and you have to keep your Unity updated too. So kind of like, you know, like game as a service. If the central corporation shuts down the server-side architecture that you need to render a game, like there's a lot of old single-player or standalone games that if the corporation shuts down its architecture, your game doesn't work anymore, right? That's a whole thing that Jim Sterling and a bunch of game journalists kind of like went like not ethics and game journalists, not Gamergate bullshit. Like people who actually like do research into kind of crimes and malfeasance of the giant mega corporate gaming industry. And so AGS doesn't engage in that kind of stuff, which is one of the things I like about it. I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't slow the system down that much. It is retro, it's old school. So it doesn't have the most advanced capacity, but it is like, it also, the good thing, it has the positives of the old school, which is it's small, it runs pretty quickly. It's not trying to nickel and dime you because it's open source, old school software. And it's not gonna break. It can't break because of some updates from corporate. Unity can have problems. So if you have a game that's out and there's an update that Unity that breaks some things on some systems or messes up, you know, on a you know Windows 10, 2017 PC to this year, it breaks this driver or breaks that. These kind of conflicts, or the original company that made the startup that sold this bunch of tools that were used in the game, like this, like not asset flip, just like Cyberpunk 2077 spin-off of a ripoff, Jumpstart toolkit that has a bunch of cyber arms or something. It's got a toolkit of like 10 different cyber arms, 5 different built-in characters with built-in animations, and you can just drop it into Unity and then you run with it. If that thing has something broken in it that doesn't work with the later, I was trying to work on a card game and I was doing it in Unity, and it was like, well, this requires this update and this update and that update and these 3 other dependencies, and you got to buy each one of those. And I was like, maybe I'll just make the whole card game in AGS. So that was a Neofeud card game. It's another thing that it's still on it's in the back burner. It's like, when he puts this thing into his hindbrain and burns out his audio cortex so that he can't hear anything because he's sick of listening to fucking Jeffrey Biznis scream in his ear through his digital interface. It's on the back burner in the back of my head, the Neofeud card game. So I'm not going to talk about that today, but I am working on a Neofeud card game, but it's like not going to come out this year probably. Jeffrey Business Kitty. Somebody make the meme. We can say about Jeffrey Business Kitty on this one because this isn't Jeffrey Business Kitty's surveillance capitalist platform. Like put like Business Kitty with Jeff with Jeff's face, like with the fake mustache and like little kitty ears or something. Jeffrey Business Kitty. Anyways, so that's this game. I'm gonna run it real fast and then just give you a short example. So once you add all of the animation sprites, right? So you have the room. Actually, I'm gonna read the chat real fast because I'm gonna get off very shortly, so I'm gonna just check the chat. Full moon this Easter, brace for Werewolf Jesus. We have a neighbor liking. Likely gonna play it on stream once I can get it. Thanks a lot, Della Don Seeker. Tell us more about the character. Sounds like a page from my life. Yeah, yeah. The Carl Carbon is basically me. Carl Carbon from Neofeud 1 is me minus. I was never a cop. And I never had a cybernetic arm with a 7-function force feedback envelope opener, and I never had a retractable blowtorch that had no oxygen. I never had a gigavolt retractable taser in my arm that uses that runs out of charge every 30 seconds like a bricked ass Android or iPhone. So but other than that, Carl Carbon is very much my life, and this character is very much aspects of my life and other people's lives. I like the characters to be based off of real people and personal experiences, ideally. because that gives it the most, that's what makes it punk. That's what makes it actually cyberpunk with a capital P, a capital U, an N, and a C. I don't know how to spell because of cyberpunk dystopia. How do you spell punk? I don't know. The school system failed me. But it makes it punk is because it's actually dealing with, like I said, the present issues. And so what are the present issues? Our Holly and I's homelessness. That's the present issues. What's the present politics? Not last year's and last century's politics that are not topical right now, like slavery as it was in the 1860s. Even things that happened in the civil rights movement that are not really they apply, but they're like not real debates. I mean, even gay rights is a thing that is still in jeopardy, but trans rights is even more central right now. Gay marriage is legal. Trans people don't. So how are you dealing with the politics of right now? And part of that is looking in your own life. I mean, this is just like if you're making something that is a game and you want it to be. I mean, if you're making a game and it's just like I'm making entertainment, that's one thing. If you're making a game, I just want to tell a cool story and have it be like very interesting and RPG with cool, space traveling and trotting. I mean, that's one thing. On the other hand, everything is political. So even if you're just making entertainment, but what you're projecting and normalizing in that world and you're describing in the world is the present world, the norm, it's centrist. It's standing with the status quo. So at the same time, but if you make a game that's mostly just cartoon demons and stuff, that's, if it's just going to be escapism, that's one thing. But if you're making a game that's like ostensibly cyberpunk or ostensibly just trying to be relevant and edifying, educational, and raising of consciousness and making people think about important topics in the present. We don't live in 1865 in steampunk world. The things that can be reflected on from the time, but even there, a lot of times there's a lot of lacking. But so that's why Neofeud is very much based on my life. It's based on things happening right now. Terminus Machina is based on training to be a high-frequency trading algorithm programmer for a huge financial firm in New York City, right? And then researching and then looking at what the U.S. was doing in all of its wars, right? Like it's currently bombing Syria some more and sanctioning them some more right now. So that's like what the game is based on. And the main character as a colonial subject, like Neofeud 1 is the main character is a internal colonizer, right? It's like he's a social worker, trying to do his best to not hurt people inside of the Imperial Metropole, right? Inside of the giant mega city of Coastlandia, right? This character is somebody who went outside and did some of the worst colonizing and just murdering of people across the galaxy, right? And so this kind of, but that's also based on things that people have done, like Uncle Walter Riddy, one of the leaders of the Native Hawaiian movement. Like you see that in the slideshow a lot of the time, was somebody who went and fought for the Empire. He was like the main character, the Stromo, the main character from the game, the guy whose arm is falling off, and part of it is part of his life is based on people like Uncle Walter. I work with a lot of military veterans of Vietnam Wars, of the Iraq Wars, the multiple Iraq Wars, the Gulf War, Afghanistan. And they come back, and some of them, they have a lot of physical problems, mental problems. They don't get help. They don't get physical health care. They're intense outside of the VAs, waiting in thousands of them for care that's not coming and is shoddy and behind and used to justify more free market privatization of all of the social services, including healthcare and electricity and everything else. And so watching so a lot of those veterans that come back, that's the hippie Terminator in Neofeud 1, right? Scott, hey man, I'm just here for my PTSD therapy credits and social security check. 2 tours in the second Dresden firebombing really took me to the heart of darkness, man. When we burned that leftist uprising, I had to shoot 100 socialists and anarchists. I got their blood all over my hands, man. And then they blew my leg off, and I'm back here. I'm like, I didn't realize what I was even doing because I bought up all of my imperial propaganda, man. They told me they were a bunch of demons. It literally said, imagine there's zombies out there, man. I didn't know what I was doing, man. And now I got PTSDs. I got the PSTDs, man. I don't know, man. And they don't want to give me no help. I'm just broken over here, man. And so that character, right? But he's just trying his best. That character Todd is more like this character, right? Somebody who's gone off, fought in these terrible wars, killing innocent people, doing Emperor Palpatine's dirty work, and just comes back and he's like, I don't know what to do with myself, right? But then, like, you know, Uncle Walter kind of found himself in this liberation and fighting for indigenous sovereignty. And it's, you know, a lot of people went to the DAPL. The stories of veterans of all the wars that went to the DAPL, and they said they found some level of not absolution, but like some level of making right with the world by visiting and standing on the line as the U.S. police, SWAT police, militarized police were blasting negative 55 degrees Celsius water all over in the middle of winter, all over indigenous peoples, just asking, please don't violate our indigenous, you know, rights in the North Dakota Access Pipeline struggle, which is not over. And a lot of the veterans were like, I did something good. That's the first time I've ever done something good in my life. I went and killed innocent people for most of my life and waterboarded them, tortured them, blew up their children, right? So anyway, so what the point is, like, Neofeud is based on those real people, real veterans, real wars, real journalists that went to these wars, real human beings that suffered external suffering and colonialism, real people who suffered under the hyper-capitalist hell of homelessness, children, adults, migrants, people of color, suffered under racism, suffered under police murder, police mass incarceration. Proto-J's character internally being diseducated and led down astray into reactionary gangsterism as propagated by the Empire for their own benefit, to mass incarcerate and justify the murder of people like George Floyd. And Neofeud deals with all of that stuff because that is, I mean, is it political, or are we just masturbating in our fucking, you know, very highly air-conditioned fancy offices that we have with our Wall Street and Pentagon billions of dollars of six-figure salary? You know, there's a song I want to play later on. It's called here, I'll show you real fast. It is called, where the hell is it? I lost it. It's gone. It's in the ether. This disappeared. It disappeared with my non-fungible tokens. Now I can't sell my, you know, my Gandalf Saruman, you know, /fic furry art that I bought it for $3 million. I was gonna flip it to elongated muskrat for $10 million, and I lost my elongated muskrat non-fungible token /fic. God damn it. Okay, no, I'm gonna find it real fast. Let me find it. Not the weird Tolkien /fic. Somebody bought for $60 million, like a picture of a tomato or something ridiculous. Or like a 10-second video or something ridiculous. It's just digital Van Goghs, because it's like socially distanced money laundering through fine art. That's what fine art is for. It's capitalist money laundering. That's all it is. It's just moving. It's 100 times lighter. You know, $1 million weighs about, you know, it's a few pounds. You fit it in a suitcase. $1 billion, $1 billion, you need a few washing machines to launder it. A Van Gogh, you with 10 Van Goghs, you could potentially move $1 billion with only, it only weighs half a pound. You could roll it up, you know. You could move. It's just 100 times lighter to use fine art to launder money. With digital crypto art, it's 0 pounds, you know. So you can launder money across the planet in digital fine art. So it's terrible, but also it uses cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. There's a long debate about the environmental impact of the digital carbon footprint, but that is going to expand the more that these fuckers do that kind of thing. So anyway, where is that art? That thing I was gonna say. Where was that? It's about punk. It was a punk. Shit. I just had it. It was on the Boing Boing site. It was pretty funny. It was like punk, all the fake punk that's out today. Not cyberpunk, just punk. I wanna show that real fast. It's almost 12:30. So I'm gonna show that, and then we're gonna get off very shortly. It was like a song called. It was a song about all the punks that are all reactionary and rich now. They're all like saying racist things. They're all standing Joe Rogan and MRA, and they're all mega punks now, including the Sex Pistols. I mean, they had a, you know, and but they've always been kind of, you know. This is what it's called. It's called, the band is called We Are the Union. I'm not gonna play it because it's probably copyright stuff on YouTube. There's George Floyd. Fresh fruit for rotting punk rock stars satirizes aging punkers. This video is hilarious. You should watch it after the stream. Punk ska band We Are the Union decided to have a little fun at the expense of old punk rockers like the members of the Dead Kennedys, whose sexagenarian politics are weirdly incongruous with their songs of their youth. The song is probably going to get us into some trouble, though its original title, Punk Rock is an Oligarchy. They could have just titled that. Punk Rock is an Oligarchy was swapped at the last minute in favor of Dead Kennedys retweeting Mitt Romney-inspired Fresh Fruit for punk rock stars. The meaning of the song remains the same. For a community supposedly built on anti-establishment ethos, when it comes to endless battle with white supremacy, abolishment of police, trans rights, and truthfully, most of the social issues facing us all today, I look around and see too many of my teenage heroes remaining quiet and unhelpful at best. At worst, I see them standing fully on the wrong side of history. If the words that shaped our worldview, our young punks in the early 2000s, ever meant anything, the time is now for the people who wrote them to show up, take accountability, and get to work. But from former Sex Pistols wearing MAGA hat shirts to overwhelmingly white male festival lineups, one can't help but wonder, was punk rock all just a way to sell us goddamn t-shirts? Yes. It was admitted, this is some deep lore, but I bring it up, but I'm going to go find it specifically because it is pertinent to this current topic. I have too many trillions of windows open. This is an article about 2 Americans who were extradited to Japan. I'll talk about that later. That's a whole nother fucking can of worms. But yeah, no. Sex Pistols wearing MAGA shirts. So anyway, like I said, right? Punk and cyberpunk by extension. Bruce Bethke coined the word cyberpunk in a short story called Cyberpunk, which was a science fiction novel. It was written it's published in 1980. Written in 1980, published in 83 in Amazing Stories magazine. And people, because when I talk about cyberpunk is political, punk has I was just talking about it. Punk has a complex history of a lot of people being basically posers, including a lot of the original band members. In the summer of 1980, Bethke was writing a story about children who lived immersed in a truly technological society with their own culture, disparate from mainstream society as it appeared at the time. He describes the process as, how did I actually create the word? So this is the person who coined the word cyberpunk. This is his own words. And he was a white guy who worked as a coder and had a good salary in the United States. Just take a guess what his industry was after writing this story. How did I actually create the word? The way any new word comes into being, I guess, through synthesis. I took a handful of roots, cyber, techno, mixed them all up with a bunch of terms of socially misdirected youth, and tried out the various combinations until one just plain sounded right. Neuromancer, of course, later on came to be like the penultimate goddaddy of cyberpunk fiction. But in another interview, Bruce Bethke said basically like, I wanted to get published so I didn't have to work for the military or Wall Street and program drones to kill children or defraud Texans out of their entire electrical grid for billions of dollars for the Gates and the Kochs. And so I tried to write a science fiction story, and how was I gonna make it sell? Well, punk was, a lot of kids were wearing these sleeveless jean jackets and mohawks, and people were playing this punk music. It sounded cool, and computer technology was hot. So I basically had a marketing term to try to sell my books. It was just a marketing term. It's not, and so its birth was not really a political. It was a marketing act. It was a bourgeois. It was equivalent to taking, Bob Dylan songs or Woody Guthrie and slapping it on a burger. It's like any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Taking your rock anthems and then slapping it on a Whopper to sell more Whoppers. That's the way that the term was coined. And so that's like, and similar, like punk itself, right? Was it ever anything but just a way to sell t-shirts? I mean, a lot of people who were in the original punk movements and people who still are in punk movements. Like I have a brother-in-law, one of Holly's family members, is in punk bands who are like this article says, fighting for, like I said, back to 75,000 tangents ago, cyberpunk, and if it's doing its job, it's dealing with the politics of the present moment in which it's written, not shying away from that to make more money selling Whoppers or selling Grand Theft Auto or selling liberal, alphabet soup, imperial nonsense to rich bankers and, DoD programmers who have way too many Fender Stratocasters and a limited edition Gibson Les Pauls with all the extra discretionary spending that they get from Wall Street and the Pentagon, pretending to be punks playing music, playing some Dead Kennedys and playing some Ramones on the weekend, playing some hard shit, man, and then LARPing Shadowrun, LARPing Cyberpunk 2020, but being rich, millionaire, bougie ass, two-house owning, fucking coders for the Death Star, or lawyers for Apple, or accountants in IT, yacht salesmen managing websites that sell billions of dollars worth of, gallivanting vehicles for billionaires. So a lot of people punk has had that complicated history, and this, and to me though, like the way I approach like Neofeud, Cyberpunk, my games, whether that's Terminus Machina, whether that's Terminus Machina, whether that's Neofeud 2, Terminus Cyberstar, I like I said, I'm a dialectical semiotician. I believe that the meanings of words and the meanings of things and symbols and signs is constructed every second that they are used while they're being used. Even though like what Cyberpunk means now, and what it means is that buggy ass piece of shit that Keanu Reeves stuck his face on for some reason. To a lot of people, what it used to mean in 2020, circa Q2, Cyberpunk meant Grand Theft Auto reskin with 80s retro future, that really cool thing that Johnny Mnemonic / Neo / that guy who was in John Wick. What it meant to some housewife was, oh, it's that cute guy who was in Speed with Sandra Bullock. It's gonna be in a video game. My grandma, my 83-year-old aunt was like, oh yeah, that's that Keanu Reeves. He's gonna be in a video game. That's what it means, right? And so what it means to somebody else is constructed in their head. I mean, that's comparative in comparative analysis theory of like literature and stories, and study of language, it evolves as it's being used. And so for me, like, I still think that Cyberpunk has the possibility of doing something politically relevant, that a lot of people that engage in, read, enjoy, particularly indie games. I mean, like I've interviewed a lot of them, Umurangi Generation, Techno Babylon, a lot of them are indigenous and people of color, queer people. James Dearden is also married to a Sri Lankan woman. Umurangi Generation, Techno Babylon, Red Strings Club, it's an LGBTQ plus created game, cyberpunk game. 1870 Cyberpunk Forever, Extreme Meat Punks, it's like cyberpunk adjacent. Trade created by a trans person that's about smashing Nazis. These are things that are it's anti-ableist, it's anti Extreme Meat Punks is dealing with trans rights, is dealing with people of color, anti-racist, and it's also dealing with the preponderance of Nazis in the United States of America, and racism and right wing in blue and red flavors. And a lot of punk is going back and listening to some song from the 70s and 80s is with a bunch of white guys who have way too much discretionary spending to be spending all their fancy guitars and all their fancy cars and 25 motorcycles, spiking their hair. That is not punk anymore, because that's not the politics and the relevant issues of our time. That's something of the 70s, that's of the 80s, and it was a big issue in the 80s and the 70s, and so similar, Cyberpunk 2077, that is about reliving a glorified past. Somebody actually called it, Cyberpunk is dad rock. I think I called it that. It's dad rock. It's like catnip for 70-year-old septuagenarian people with too much discretionary spending, renting out Airbnbs and calling themselves punk, being landlords and then calling themselves, but I'm a hardcore anti-capitalist squatter. No, you're not squatter. You're renting your house out to 20 starving millennials for $4,000 a month in Vancouver. You're not punk, Is that gatekeeping? Well, I mean, that's just like not being a freaking poser. There were a lot of posers. There still are a lot of posers. You can see that from the Sex Pistols. They're doubling down on their. Well, are we selling to white guys now? Okay, well, let's all be MAGA now. Let's all be racist white guys now. Because that's what's selling more T-shirts. Is that what's gonna get my book published, or my Zoom call, or my non-fungible cyber token? Am I gonna sell $1 million Joe Rogan, high-fiving Donald Trump art with a cool cyberpunk themed writing under it that cites Gina Carano and free speech? Okay, that's what I'm selling now. So anyways, that's my take on that's like why I think, like, that somebody else can be like, well, that's not what it means, blah blah blah, But again, I'm just like interacting with the discourse, and that's what I think that because I'm somebody who has experienced a lot of these issues, and I don't want these things to continue into the future, I don't want my children and everyone else to grow up in a world where, not just America, but that's why I do all these streams, like everywhere else is just even more hellish cyberpunk or post-cyberpunk dystopia, right? That's why I make cyberpunk games about the present, about the things that are being faced, like everything, not just like some of the things, not just like a little surface, not just like, oh yeah, I think Holly, we're talking about, like, there's like a fire in your when relating to the way that the medical system misdiagnoses disabilities. There's a fire in your entire house, but they're like, oh, there's a fire in your kitchen, or there's a fire in your, let's put out the fire in the kitchen, but my whole house is on fire. That's another thing. It's like, oh well, like, if we just have a few more black or brown faces in high places, or if we just defund the police, like we'll give the police $600 million instead of $700 million. Well, we put out the fire in your drapes. Well, the drapes are on fire, the kitchen's on fire, the house is on fire, California's on fire, Texas is on frozen, and then it'll be on fire in the summer. Everywhere's on fire. So to me, like, that's all the other thing. Cyberpunk is like, you have to, like, you gotta cut the whole cancer out. Don't leave like little bits of it stuck inside of your system, inside of your country, inside of your planet, inside of your society, inside of your culture, inside of your media, inside of your entertainment, in your games, in your news, in your blue check marks all over your surveillance capitalist platforms. Anyways, it's 12:38, so I gotta get off. I'm going to be back for American Johnson's stream, 5 o'clock, and I'm going to be on there. I don't know how long that's going to go, but I'll be on there. If it gets done sooner, I'm gonna if it gets done sooner, then I don't know. If it only goes for an hour or whatever, then maybe I'll do a little stream after that on Twitch. But the Twitch evening stream might not happen, so just remember, just keep that in mind. Let me look at the chat before we go. Oh, 6. What is it? I think I missed something. I would love Silver Spook's roast on Cyberpunk. Wedding night. You gonna be tuxed up? Am I gonna be tuxed up? I don't know if I have a tuxedo. I'll button this sweater. That's actually just a corduroy flannel shirt. But I'll put like cyber stuff on it. Like I'll just put like a retractable. I'll put a retractable lapel that has, like, I don't know, a taser coming out of it. Anyways, I don't know. I'll be there. We'll see what I wear. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Yeah, don't forget, you can follow everything happening here at Terminus C. Again, Terminus Cyberstar coming out sometime in the near future. Currently, sometime in March, so within the next few weeks or so, if everything goes as planned. If not, I will let you know if it gets extended. Join the Discord. It is the sequel to Terminus Machina, and it is set in the world of Neofeud as well. Don't forget, you can follow us. I'm just gonna do all this stuff right now. You can follow at SilverSpookGuy. That's my personal Twitter. You can also follow at SilverSpookGames, which is mostly the game-related stuff, like I have been talking about. At SilverSpookGames minus the E in silver. You can follow I already said Terminus C. You can also follow us on the decentralized, non-capitalist controlled social media platform. So it's kind of like it's like open source. It's like AGS. It's like AGS. but for social media accounts, right? It is like Adventure Game Studio in a sense that it is open source. It is it's not AGS. No, you don't pay royalties or profit to the AGS corporation. Twitter collects money. Everything that happens, they get billions of dollars straight from the U.S. State Department, and to manipulate timelines and shadow ban people who talk about indigenous people having pipelines railroaded through their land, delete people who say Breonna Taylor's name off of Twitter, try to take actual journalists like Max Blumenthal and wipe them off of Twitter, or put fake warnings like this materials may have been obtained through hacking and other nonsense. So there is manipulation of the timeline. That's what a lot of their profit goes to, and they manipulate every second of the day. You're being manipulated on Twitter, so just always remember that. On Mastodon, it's like peer-to-peer, decentralized sort of system. It doesn't have as much reach like AGS. Way less people play AGS games than play Unity or Unreal Engine games, right? So I hope one day that more people use something like Mastodon, but until then, we still have both. You can follow at SilverSpoonGames at octanon.social. You can also follow okay, no, I'm going backwards with this. Okay. You can support everything that we do here at Cyberspook Games through patreon.com/Neofeud. If you want to do like recurring donations to support the education, the streaming, and also the making of the games. This is you also get access to the Discord, the Cyberspook Discord, even at the $1 level, and you also get access to some more behind the scenes stuff that I don't share everywhere else, on the making of Neofeud 2, Terminus, Cyberstar, etc. Like you would have got some of this stuff that some things I'm talking about now. I kind of like put some of that out earlier in a previous Patreon post. So yeah, you can do Patreon. Also, of course, Neofeud is available on Steam and itch.io as always. Neofeud is a well, I've been talking about it a lot, but it's a cyberpunk adventure game in the vein of Blade Runner. It is a point-and-click adventure game, and it is not on sale at the moment, but all the sales of it do go to support everything that we do here. In 2033, we create AI. Sentient robots arrive not as our Terminator overlords or singularity sabers. Conscious machines are humanity's unwanted bastard children. I won't read the whole thing, but the main character is a socialist. It's a homeless social worker, half cyborg for homeless robots and discarded sentient hybrid transgenic people from eugenics corporations, trying to help them, and then winding up trying to fight a conspiracy of multi-trillionaire neo-feudal fully automated luxury space fascist capitalist kings and queens / CEOs. So it's a lot like Deus Ex, but more satirical. Taika Waititi directs Blade Runner in a point-and-click adventure game. It's in the style of like Sierra LucasArts 90s style games, or Disco Elysium, but more cyberpunk if you're like a younger gamer or you've gotten in games recently. Those are like newer reference, but anyways, if you have a second to leave even a very short review for Neofeud, it's greatly appreciated because that helps to increase the likelihood that the almighty, all-powerful algorithm will recommend Neofeud in the more like this, or in the when people log into Steam, the algorithm will send the game to their eyeballs. Otherwise nobody's gonna discover it. So it really does help if you leave even like I like this game, good job. That's better than nothing. It's like YouTube comments or Twitch chats. You can also, if you didn't like the game, I'm very sorry. You don't have to leave a review. We'll try to do better on Neofeud too. You can also get Neofeud on itch.io for Windows, Mac, and Linux. It's on itch.io. You can get it DRM free. So if you don't like installing Steam or having, because with Steam, you buy a game on Steam, you don't have to have Steam open while you're playing the game, so it's managed digitally. With itch.io, you can get the game and you can install it any computer. You don't have to be connected. If you don't, if you go offline, or you don't want to be, you want to move the game to another computer, or you just want it to be on a standalone, disconnected from the internet, you can get on itch.io. So that is one benefit of it. It's similar to AGS. You don't need any updates or connection as long as the game Adventure Game Studio, the software that I use to develop Neofeud and Neofeud 2, as long as it runs on your computer, you know, you can create games, export the games, and it works. You know, it's air gapped. Would be like the hacker speak, I suppose. It runs with air gap. You know. Okay, so that's that, and finally, that's it. Okay. I'm gonna look at the chat. Oh, let me thank Patreon patrons before I forgot. Thanks to all the Patreon patrons. Dave, James Wheaton, Mixzilla, Mr. Brewer, Belinda and Taylor, Kiara Copperbar, Industrial Robot, Johnny C, Alana, Montero, Sean Conlon, Danny Carroll, Eric Wright, Jared Morgan, Swampcroft, The Reaver, Tyler Tudhill, Right 455, Matthew Stone, Alexander Roy, Gabriel House, Alfonso Dilazar, Combo Bricker, Mark, Lark, Muriel, Skylar, Smith, Tim, Kabuter, Raft, Tiny Earl, Control Order, Extremely Online Left, Ted, Turlington, Beast Coat, and the name to name. Thanks for your continued support. It is greatly appreciated. Now I will check the chat before we go. See you at the wedding. It should be a great time. Yeah, it should be a good time. Good time. EJ and Luna. Always good to see comrades EJ and comrade Luna. Yeah, I wonder if it's an online marriage type deal. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Yeah, take care, Della. Thanks for hopping in there. Mr. Red. Thanks a lot, Quinn Roast. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for hopping in there. Anyways, until next time, keep your marriage face polished. Be excellent to each other. And, you know, hey, does anybody want to buy Non-Fungible traded Dookie? I mean, not the album, because I don't, I don't sell other people's uncancelled 90s, punk musicians like Green Day for $2 million. But anyone want to sell like a picture of my feces with a French label that says, "This is not a piece of shit." Anybody want to buy that for like $3 million on Crypto Bytes? Elongated Muskrat, Jeffrey Business Kitty. You want to buy my $3 million piece of Silver Spook shit? It's postmodern. It's postmodern neo-Marxism. I heard that's hot with all y'all's. Right? All y'all right-wing, MRA, red-pilling fucking billionaires. Anyways,